Like I said just now, scanning is to go through rapidly the entire document, and very often those are the documents, articles that you have never read before. Okay, that is why you have no prior background knowledge. You don't know where to find the information, because this is the first time you're encountering such article or passage. Okay, and then skimming is when you already scanned before, you have already scanned this, you have already read this before, so now you know exactly where the information is, so then you can skim. But if something new, you cannot skim because you don't know where the information is. Okay, so let's start with scanning first. Okay, scanning is to run your eyes down the text, searching for important or keywords as well as the most outstanding facts. So you are running your eyes down the entire text, like what you were doing just now, the whole thing you were reading. Okay, so you are actually searching for important or keywords as well as the most outstanding facts. So whatever the keywords, you need to remember them, and some facts that you think is important as you run down the entire passage. So acceptable rates will be about 1,000 words per minute or more, and the acceptable comprehension rate is 100%. So you need to read very fast and you need to understand everything that you are reading. Okay, so this is scanning. So how can you improve your scanning technique? First of all, you need to have a mental outline or visualization of how it is structured. Different materials have different structure, but more or less they are structured almost the same. Okay, index, that means a table of content. So in books they have table of content. Headings like titles, they are normally in bold. That means the what you call that, the words are darker compared to the content. Okay, so and for however, for complex materials, you will need a thorough background knowledge before you can scan very well. Okay, so first of all, how you can improve your scanning technique is to visualize how it is structured first. For example, newspaper, you know how newspaper articles are structured, the title first. So you read the title, then you will roughly get the gist of what you're going to read. Okay, so that is a newspaper article. If magazine, it is at least 3 to 4 pages long. Normally they have a title and there is a short summary, and in between the magazine articles they have small little sections where they highlight the important content. Okay, so and new magazine articles, they will have pictures. Okay, but newspaper, if it's a very big news, they will have pictures, but if it's a normal news, it's just one column, one small column. So you know how these are structured. Okay, if it's a book, you know that there's a table of content, so you can read through the table of content first. So by knowing all these things, right, by reading the headings, the table of content, it gives you a rough idea of what you are going to read first. So then when you read, it becomes easier for you because you will be able to predict and anticipate what you're going to read next. Okay, so speed and accuracy, you move your eyes in a scanning pattern very fast, just goes zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. So you are actually reading very fast and you don't stop until you find the specific information you are looking for. So you can use hand and finger movement like that. And do not have hard focus, unfocus your eyes, soft focus, so that you can actually avoid irrelevant materials and you can just go through really fast. Okay, so that is speed and accuracy. So why should you learn this scanning skill? This reading skill here is so important, but many students, they don't realize the importance of scanning skills. When you don't know how to scan, you will actually spend and waste a lot of time reading things that are not important, and eventually you will lose the interest in reading whatever that you have been reading. Okay, so if you do not learn scanning, it will actually affect the general understanding of the passage because you're taking so much of time to read word for word, and hence the time taken to finish is very, very long. And in the long run, you will miss out what is the true idea, what is the general idea that they're trying to present, because you're spending too much time. You're micro reading. Okay, so when we read, we don't want to micro read. We just want to thoroughly just understand what is this about. That's all. Okay, so next we will go to skimming. What is skimming? Like I said, once you have scanned, now you can skim. Okay, so you can only skim things you have already scanned or you have already read before. Okay, so skimming is to pass quickly over material as quickly as you can while getting a general holistic view of the content. Meaning to say, right, you don't have to read word by word, you don't have to read the entire whole text. You already know where the information is located, so you can go straight to the information and reread that section only. So whatever examples or things that are irrelevant, you avoid it totally. You do not read it. Okay, so this is skimming. You go straight to it. Okay, and you just want to understand the general overview only. That's it. You don't want to understand everything. So acceptable rates vary from 800 to 1500 words per minute. Why is it lower 800? Because certain sections you would want to go through again and again. So that slows you down because you are skimming for very specific information. So you are trying to read and at the same time understand. That is why it becomes 800 words per minute. Okay? And why 1005? Because you're so fast, right? The first introduction you have already very briefly you have just gone through, and maybe you didn't even read or it's irrelevant, so you have already seen. You quickly go to the second paragraph, quickly go to the third paragraph, so it becomes higher, 1005 per minute, word per minute, and you don't have to understand the whole entire thing. 50 to 60% of main ideas is good enough. Okay, so let's look at the differences between scanning and skimming. I don't want you to be confused by it. Okay, scanning, very important for new documents. You are reading the whole text. You need to understand everything. Okay, and it's a very fast reading. Skimming, you are leaving out blocks of text containing minor details. You just want the main idea. Examples, explanation, and all that jazz, you are leaving it out. Okay? And then you only need to understand half of it. 50 to 60% comprehension is good enough. And you need to read twice as fast as you scan because you're already familiarized with yourself with this text. So you can actually, you know where is the important information that you're looking for. Straight away you can go into it. So you are leaving blocks of text out and you are reading in a very, very fast manner. Okay, so much faster than scanning. It is twice as fast. Okay, so how can you now improve your skimming technique? The same with scanning. Do a preview of the length. Okay, you take a look at your passage or your article. See how long it is. You know that articles generally the most important information will be at the introduction and the conclusion. So the content you can probably skip it. Okay, you will look at the title because it gives you a general overview of what the passage is about. Okay, some visual aids, some pictures to see, to help you understand more. Okay, like I said just now, just focus on the first paragraph, the introduction. So the first sentence of key paragraphs of the body paragraph and the last paragraph, that's it. There are other things you don't have to read. Okay, vary your rate. When you see something important, you read it properly. When it is not important, you quickly skip it. So read key parts carefully, reread them if necessary, and race past unimportant material. Okay, so that is skimming. Okay, so as usual, with skimming and scanning, practice makes perfect. We need to consistently check our comprehension. Okay, how do we do this? We skim an article and then write a paragraph stating the main ideas plus a few details. Reread the article at a rapid reading rate to determine whether or not you correctly identified the main idea only and only the most important points. So skimming can also be done independently. So what you can do is you skim something, you know that you have found a passage or an article that you have found. Okay, you actually take out the main ideas and then you scan and see whether you did it correctly or not. So this is one of the way of learning skimming and using it independently as a yeah, using it independently as a whole. Okay, yes. So after that, you need to skim regularly and often. The more you skim, the more confidence you gain. And later on in life, right, whatever article that you have, right, you don't have to scan anymore. You can straight away skim. But for now, for beginners, you will need to learn scanning first. Then only you will learn skimming. Okay? So why do you want to skim? Why learn how to skim? It improves other reading rates. So once you skim, you don't have to scan. It actually helps you to improve on academic reading, improve on leisure reading. It will improve. I promise you that it will improve all your other reading rates. And because we know how to skim, right? One article, one passage, we only spend about 1 minute, 2 minutes to just quickly read through. So there are so many articles on the World Wide Web these days. Articles about COVID-19, okay, some about US, okay. There are so many articles that will keep us, that will widen our knowledge and also widen our horizon. So it keeps us informed. If you are able to learn how to skim and scan, you will be able to read so many things and you can acquire so much knowledge, okay, and speeds up supplementary assignments. The next time your teacher asks you to read something, you can be done in 2-3 minutes. You can answer the question and you are done. So skimming, scanning is a very important reading skill that everybody should learn. Increases your sources of reference because you are informed, because you read a lot. So it will increase your sources of reference. Next time when people ask you or talk about something, you have a lot of source to reference from because you have read a lot. And of course, it brings useful material to your attention versus somebody who cannot skim and scan. They do not know what is important and what is not important because they spend 30 minutes reading one single article. Whereas you can spend 2 minutes and say this is rubbish. It's not important. Okay, so learning to skim and scan brings great benefits. Okay, any questions? After this, we're going to do a reading test.